All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Chakwadah. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Nap, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. I found this online. We know that, actually, matter of fact, let me click over here. We know that Khamenei got put to death yesterday. And it is what it is, man. It is what it is because all these leaders and shit like that, man, nobody is immune from the Lord, man. He gonna use you the way he wants to, and then he gonna get rid of you at the end of the day because, all authority and power goes to his son. So he ain't gonna. None of you kings out there that got rulership now, that's not gonna last forever. You're not the nation of Israel. So your kingdom's gonna be overthrown. You're gonna be overthrown. You ain't immortal. I mean, the dude was 86 years old. I was watching videos. They got Jake doing TikTok videos, acting like doing rap diss song. I think the diss song was old, but it's just this place is corny, man. We'll see if those rap songs last when your ass actually got to go over there and fight them niggas, man. We'll probably galvanize them as we speak. Because if you kill somebody's leader, what do you think they're gonna do over there? As a matter of fact, let's see if they say anything about that. This is from the Associated Press. It says Iran vows revenge after killing of its top leader and trades strikes with Israel in widening war. So now they vowed to kill after they did their general too. They said that was gonna be they were gonna retaliate because of that, or they were gonna get some get back because of that. I don't know where they got that get back yet. So there's a lot of empty threats, and who knows who's gonna be in power now. So you just took somebody out that said he wasn't gonna increase uranium and create a nuclear missile. Who knows? He might put someone worse in there. Now the Lord might actually put somebody in there that's gonna do what he needs to be done. You know, he might increase it. You already at 60%. All right, let's get it up to 90. He already bombed us. Who gives a fuck? Let's go. And then, now you got the galvanization of the rest of the people. They can galvanize. That's like that's like what happened over here with 9/11. You get a foreign government to attack you. Hey, you'll galvanize around something like that, man. Let's see what this says, though. It says, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Iran vowed revenge Sunday after the killing of its supreme leader and traded strikes with Israel as part of a widening war prompted by a surprise U.S. and Israeli bombardment a day earlier. Yeah, a day earlier. Supposedly blew up a school. They got this most precision missiles, and they blew up a school with 108 girls in it or something like that. So if your missiles are that precise, what does that say about the person pushing the button? All right. Blast in Tehran sent a huge plume of smoke into the sky in an area where there are government buildings. Iranian authorities say more than 200 people have been killed since the start of the U.S. and Israeli strikes that killed Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and other senior leaders. So he even killed other senior leaders. They're not really mentioning their names. Earlier, Iran fired missiles at an ever-widening list of targets in Israel and Gulf of Arab states in retaliation, while Israel pledged non-stop strikes against Iran's leaders and military. So they pledged non-stop strikes against their leaders and military. So they're gonna keep fighting because Israel wants that land, man. Okay, for whatever reason, or he wants some regime change, so he ain't got to worry about what's going on over there. All right, but according to other sources in the area, they saying that dude was already working with the so-called Christians and Jews. So a lot of people are not happy about that government, especially you look at these other Sunni Muslim groups. They're saying that they were already working with those with the Jews and the Christians supposedly. So he wasn't already popular with a couple of other people. Just saying, I ain't from the area, but in Israel, loud explosions caused by missile impacts or interceptions could be heard in Tel Aviv. Israel's rescue services said 8 people were killed and 28 wounded in a strike that hit a synagogue in the central town of Beit Shemesh, bringing the overall death toll in the country to 10. So it's blowing up synagogues and things like that. But it is what it is. That's what happens during war. You get casualties, you know, you get more escalation, more. It ain't no benefit from war. It just continues. More vows of more destruction. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen because that's what the Lord said it was gonna happen. He's getting, and you know what? I'm thinking they're gonna actually get up into, you know, because it doesn't. Jeremiah 51 and no, Isaiah 51 and 2, or is it Jeremiah? I think it's Jeremiah. It talks about the thermonuclear missiles coming, you know, that destroying wind. I mean, it talks about the fanners. Okay, and I do believe they're gonna get to the point where they're gonna be able to have capability to nuke America. Going back into 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, where it talks about the Carmanians wasting a part of the land of the Assyrians. The modern day Assyrian is Esau Edom. Okay, because he's the Lord's whipping stick in this time. So that's all code word for Esau. Jeremiah 51 and 2, and I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. So the fanners are these thermonuclear capable countries that are gonna shoot nukes over here. They got every reason to nuke this place. You know, you got all these vows. So who knows, man? Especially with how you know, the people their reaction. They had protests. But there was a lot of pro-Iranian. They were pro that government. They were with that government. They might have not liked a lot of their stuff, but they damn sure don't like a foreign country shooting nukes. I mean, shooting missiles on top of their country, man. People don't like that. All right, so it is what it is. So you know, those different fanners are going to take part in destroying Babylon the Great. And now they don't have nuclear capability yet. That's probably why the Duck thought it was safe to go and strike them, because they were shipping out a bunch of planes out of Israel. So here it is, you want to start a war, then you want to run. That's how Esau is. Coward. They show all these different planes flying out of Israel. Most of them, you know who it was. That's your whole government doing all this shit, then leaving you over there to get struck by missiles because they don't know where it's coming from. Jeremiah 51 and 3, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth up himself in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. So that's talking about America being destroyed. Her host is talking about her armies being destroyed. You know, so this is all prophecy being fulfilled. It's getting up to the point where you're gonna see it, you're gonna feel it. But everyone thinks it's okay. You know, you watch online, which is all probably propaganda. You know, they got people on X. They support everything the Duck did. Not one thing he did wrong. Epstein files, hoax. You know, bombing and killing all these people and sending y'all to war. Good job, they say. Okay, we'll see. We'll see when your ass get destroyed, or your family gets destroyed. See how that feels. The Lord ain't playing with none of you damn heathen that are out there. You cheering on the devil. You cheerleaders gonna get put to death too. Okay, all that calamity's coming here anyway. That's what's prophesied to happen. That's why he got his men out here talking about your downfall. Okay. As a matter of fact, let me just finish a little bit more. That's pretty much it. I ain't gonna sit there and talk about it. But they vowed to they always vowing to do some shit. Just hurry up and do it. What the U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran mean for the price of oil? I've been trying to look this up for a little bit now. The Israeli war on Iran has ignited fears that escalating military aggression in the Middle East could send oil prices soaring, push up prices at the pump, and drive a global economic downturn. Ooh, that's what we've been talking about, man. Global economic downturns. As a matter of fact, let's go to Isaiah the 19th chapter. Isaiah chapter 19, I'll start at the top. The burden of Egypt, these prophecies, it's Yahweh of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. What did our Lord do to ancient Egypt? He didn't destroy all of Egypt, but he sent plagues upon it. Okay, he was destroying it with plagues. Egypt's still here today. So they're going to bear the plagues of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, which is a chariot, and shall come into Egypt, which is America, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. So your heart, your idols, the things that you trust and believe in, that's not gonna help you, man. You know, especially like his military, you trust in that. You're gonna see that these missiles that they got in these other countries, and their drones, they're more sophisticated. You got a lot of money, you got billions of dollars and Navy ships and shit like that, but they got drones worth a piece of what you own, and they're highly sophisticated. $30,000 can blow up billions of dollars worth of anti-defense systems and all of that bullshit that this nigga got that he be boasting about. He gonna be destroyed with something much cheaper, much more efficient than all that. That's all that shit is pride. That shit ain't gonna do nothing. Discombobulator, they probably got a discombobulator too. We're gonna see whose frequency is higher. Maybe if you turn your discombobulator on, he put his discombobulator on, and they might cancel out some of your sound waves, and then still be able to affect you. Now you throwing up in the tanks and shit like that. Who knows? We'll see. So the idols are going into what you believe in, because nowadays your idols aren't carved images of some God that you believe in. Now the idols are the people you trusted. Okay, that's a lot of people believe in themselves. They idolize themselves, just like the so-called white man Esau. Isaiah 19 verse 2. And I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptians. So he's setting the Egyptians against the Egyptians. So what that means is you Americans against that civil war. Y'all gonna be fighting each other, getting put to death. Meanwhile, he's gonna be fighting all over. It's gonna be nothing but chaos, and that's what he's here to bring. And they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So city against city, you're gonna be fighting city against city. You gotta make it through all of that, man. That's civil unrest, it's civil war. And you can see it starts with the protesting. They started doing protests last night. New York City had a protest. A couple of different places came out and protest against the killing of Khamenei. All right, so you know that's going to continue, especially when they ask us to go to war. More protests are going to come, and then when you start drafting you niggas because you signed promissory notes to go to school, then there's going to be more. Why go over there and fight when look what's going on out here? You getting shot driving in your car. White people are getting put to death now, so why would they go and even fight against another government? They're going to end up fighting against their own government. That's what Isaiah 19 and 2 is talking about. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. So the spirit of Egypt is the spirit of America. But what's the spirit of America? You proud to be an American and all that bullshit. Yeah, we'll see how proud you are when you got to go fight somebody on their own homeland. You over there invading their land, calling them terrorists and all that, but you over there attacking them. See how you get see how proud you are when bullets start flying at your face in your body. See how proud you are when you're getting dashed to pieces by missiles. See how proud you are. See that spirit. See if you can rouse up that spirit like you did during the Revolutionary War. See if that comes back. That spirit's not coming back. Nobody wants to fight for this place. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 3, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. So he's destroying the counsel thereof. So when he sits down and talks with these other world leaders, they're not telling them anything that's going to benefit them. They're just bringing them down deeper into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Okay, that's not helping you. That's not going to help any of you leaders that are, even people who are coming up against the duck. He's causing all of y'all to go fall. He's causing every single government to meet him over there. Come fight me in the ring over there. And he's going to lose. He's going to lose because the Lord's going to come and destroy all of you damn heathens. Then you're going to turn around and try to fight up against the Lord with all this technology. So it's really all these nations are getting ready to go to war with the Lord. It's going to start off with Esau getting his ass kicked, and then it's going to go into the Lord, fighting against them, taking their crowns from off their head, like it says in Revelation, the 19th chapter. And everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Isaiah 19:3 again, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. So you're going to seek to these, everything outside of, because the word ain't going to be going out anymore. There's going to be a cry for wine in the streets. You're going to be going to your false gods. You're going to be going to these churches. You're going to be believing the propaganda that's coming out. Hey, spewing online. I got to do this for a future generation. I got to do this for our children that's coming. We got to do it now. You're going to believe all that bullshit. Oh, listen, just take the chip. You're going to listen to the wizard. That's what the wizard's going to hit you with. He's the one causing all these things to happen, so he can give you the outcome of going to take a chip, which was always prophesied to happen. That's why we're building ourselves up for that time, but while everyone else is just, they being swayed to and fro, walking around with signs on their necks, talking about something that's going on in Iran, when they should be occupied in prophecy. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 19 and verse number 4. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. The fierce king is the duck. Okay, that's the king of Babylon that the Lord's setting up to pass these draconian laws, like it tells you in Revelation, the 13th chapter, where he had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. That's talking about his draconian measures. The draconian measures, it goes back into ancient Greece, where they had Draco's law, which when you look it up, it's basically going into some fucked up laws where they put you to death for any reason and it's justified. And that's what you're seeing now. So he's the one implementing that. So that's the true Lord doing all that, putting all these unrighteous decrees to come lock up the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, building detention centers all over, right in front of your face. And you think this is, it's all a game to you, but you're going to see. And some of you white people are going to get caught up in that bullshit. And hey, good. That's what you get. But see if Jesus Christ comes in, goes into just like he did with John the Revelator, goes inside the prison and says, my son, why don't you write this down for you? He ain't going to do that to you. He's going to let you get put to death. Because you're a fucking idiot anyway. All you damn Edomites out there, you're fucking foolish. You're a foolish nation. The Lord's going to destroy the counsel thereof, and you follow it. That's how we're seeing how dumb you people truly are. You got all this power, all this glory. Now shameful spewing is going on because you don't deserve it. It don't even belong to you. And that's why we prophesying the downfall of your kingdom. Isaiah 19 and verse 5. And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be wasted and dried up. So the waters are going into you see how things are flowing right now. You hear cars. That's a flow. That's like water. Okay, that's the life of your kingdom. Okay, that's going to be all dried up because there ain't going to be any work. You're going to be going to war. You're going to be getting put to death. All right, that's what's coming to y'all, man. That's why I was looking at the oil prices, because the Gulf of Hormuz, I don't know if I'm still trying to figure out if they shut it down or not, because they ain't saying they really shut it. They ain't really any news saying they shut it down. They're saying that they pretty much kept it open, but it is like it's a higher alert. So these shipping containers and all that are scared to go through there, and they're looking for insurance to see if they can get through if someone will insure them if something happens to the cargo, that they'll get repaid, and they ain't getting no calls back. So they're probably thinking, shit, are they gonna take the risk? It's probably not worth it, especially when he's bombing. I think Israel's still bombing him. Isaiah chapter 19, verse number 6. And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be empty and dried up. The reeds and flags shall wither. So that's also going more into more economic collapse. So the Lord told you that these things are going to happen. You living in the time where it's happening, because these are the last days, where Esau Edom's being exposed for being the devil, and you're starting to see who the wicked is and who the righteous are. Okay, who's standing up for the Lord and who's not? Who's serving the Lord and who's not? Who's a damn devil in the earth and who's not? And the Lord's exposing all of that. Okay? Isaiah chapter 19, verse number 7. The papa reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more. So everything that relies on that water to survive is going to be destroyed. That's talking about economic instability. And that's what you're gonna have. You ain't gonna have a job. You're gonna have to start giving you shit that government gonna have to give you UBI and all of that bullshit so you can stay in your house. You should own nothing and be happy. It's according to Charles Schwab. That's what he told you y'all gonna be. You're gonna own nothing and be happy. That's where we headed to. Isaiah 19 verse 8, the fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brook shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the water shall languish. So there ain't gonna be any work. Okay? Just like back then, fishing was a prominent job. You know, nowadays, you know, that's a huge industry, but you know, there's other jobs that are just equally as important. So those high-level jobs that back then, you're gonna be languishing. Engineering positions, we don't need you anymore. We got AI that can't write code for shit. You look at the code that he writes, that shit got a back door in it, probably for you know, so Israel can manipulate it. But that's what you know, that's what he does. Puts a back door into all that bullshit. Isaiah chapter 19, verse number 9. Moreover, they that work in fine flax, and they that weave network shall be confounded. Yeah, so that's going into higher level jobs. You weaving networks and fine flax, you know, you need to be, for the waters to flow, you got to build irrigation systems. Egypt was known to make irrigation systems from the Nile River. If all these systems are being broken, then the water's not going to flow where it needs to go. And all that plush land, reeds and all of that, that's not going to grow. Okay, so your shit's going to be fucked up. That's what it's talking about. Instability here in America, man. This is Egypt. So those systems that you relied on before, they ain't going to work anymore. He's already trying to get rid of your medication and shit. A lot of y'all got diabetes and heart disease and all types of shit. You ain't going to have your medication. So a lot of people are going to die from that. All right? A lot of people are going to die from not having access to their insulin, not having access to this common medication that you take for granted today. All right? He going to tell you, yeah, we can do all of this, but your insurance don't cover that. Then he's going to try to take everything you have, and then he's going to offer you a chip. Yeah, take this chip, and we'll pay for all of that, man. Putting more Roundup in your bread and all that, you're going to have cancer and all types of shit, man. You're going to need help in that time. And you don't want to go to this nigga for nothing. You're going to need the Lord in that time. That's why we're laboring for our rest. You gotta put in that work. You got to build up that relationship with the Lord today, or you're going to die, man. It's very simple. You're going to just get put to death. And it might not come in the form or fashion that you think it's gonna come through economic collapse. Gas prices going up. How you gonna continue to work? You might even be homeless before that time comes. How you gonna survive then? You know, it's gonna be tough. Isaiah 19 verse 10, and they shall be broken in the purposes thereof, all that make sluices and ponds for fish. What's a sluice? Sluices. Let's look that up. Isaiah 19 and 10. Let's look this up. All that makes sluices. Let's ask ChatGPT, because people don't like when I go into this, when I use the internet to cheat. Isaiah 19 verse 10. 10. Is that Isaiah 19 verse 10? Yes, it is. Let's see what chat says this is. This chapter is about prophecy against Egypt, showing how the Lord would smite their economy, wisdom, waters, and spirit. Verse 10 continues that theme, economic collapse, meaning crushed, oppressed, destroyed, brought low, showing economic and structural collapse. Purposes, foundations, meaning the pillars, support systems, the foundational systems of Egypt's society. Canals, sluices are canals, irrigation channels, connected to the Nile system. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. Those sluices are those canals going into the irrigation system in the Nile system. So you needed engineers to build those types of things, those systems in place. And just like you need these systems that you have today. So you can, you know, even like the trucks going from picking up stuff and bringing it over here, that's going to be destroyed. That's part of your canal system that we have today. That's how he brings and delivers you your produce, your goods. You're not actually going Egypt. You know, all that shit it was just probably abundant everywhere. But now he delivers it to your supermarkets and things like that. That's just gonna be closed, man. How you gonna eat then? This is what I'm talking about, man. You need help, especially if you live in the city. Good luck. Good luck if you live in the city, man. You're gonna have to fight. If the Lord, even if you have to fight, the Lord gonna have to deal with you then too. Hopefully, He give you the victory. You know, my mind's prepared for. I'm not saying all these things are definitely going to happen, but that's how my mind works. No one really knows how bad Jacob trouble's going to be, but we know it's going to be worse than ever before. And we had to fight in other times. So during 70 AD, we had to fight. During the Babylonian siege, we had to fight. So what makes you think you ain't going to have to fight in this time? And it might not be physical. You know, it's mostly spiritual, but some of us, the Lord might put a spirit on you, man. You might have to put something to death. Somebody breaking your house, what you supposed to do? Say, excuse me, I'm calling 911. Nah, man. Ain't no 911 anymore. That's going to be collapsed. It's going to be a lament for the teats. That's why you women are going to be fucked up out here, man. All independent and shit, okay. You think it's okay you can keep a house by yourself. That's good, that's impressive. But when these people see that you live alone, you don't know who's watching you. Like that nigga from The Purge, man. You're gonna have some nigga that always wanted you. You didn't want to give him no love. Now he gonna come in there and take it. So you're gonna need a man in that time, and you're gonna need a man of the Lord. You fucking with some nigga that ain't a man of the Lord, he might just get put to death, and he'll go through. That nigga might get both of y'all. You know, the man of the Lord is gonna be like precious gold in that time, according to Isaiah the 13th chapter. Because he's filled with the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshua. He's gonna be what does it say in Isaiah 30? Let me grab that real quick. He's gonna be like let's read it. Isaiah 30. Or is it Isaiah 32? Let me see. Isaiah. No, that's not it. Yep. Isaiah 32:2. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind. So the wind's going into the different calamities that are coming in. You know, all of this shit that's coming. He's gonna be like a hiding place. And a covert from the tempest. The tempest is the storm, you know, these different Esau said Isaiah says when the enemy shall come in like a flood. The Lord's going to lift up a standard against him. He's only going to lift up that standard with a man of the Lord. He's not lifting up that standard for these stupid-ass heathen that are out here. They're going to be taken down. You know, shit talkers on comment boards, they're going to be taken down. So these, you know, everyone thinks that this is a joke. But the joke's going to be on them in these last days. As rivers of water in a dry place. So he's going to have things that other people don't have during that time. It tells you in the second chapter, that his men are going to have abundance. As the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. Okay, the shadow of a great rock, man. He's going to be for stability in a weary land. So someone like that is who we need to be around. Someone like that is who we need to strive to be, because only the Lord is going to give that victory, that power. Isaiah 19, as a matter of fact, did I finish this? The sluices or the canals, what else did it say? Ponds for fish pools, fisheries. Fishing was a major food and economic resource, so your food too. The Lord is saying Egypt's infrastructure will fail. Their water-based economy, Nile irrigation, fishing agriculture will collapse. The working class laborers who depend on these systems will be crushed. And that's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. No matter what job, they're already being crushed with AI. We already see that. You know, that's why we're laboring to bring forth riches in heaven, like it tells us to do. When neither moth nor rust doth corrupt. Let me grab that. Matthew, I think it's chapter 6. Where's the 7? Yep. Matthew chapter 6, verse 19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. That's right. Where your treasure is, so you laying up treasures in heaven is you being obedient with the Lord. You're pretty much earning, I don't want to say brownie points with him, but you're good in his sight. Okay? He's pleased with you. The real treasure is the mercy of the Lord, his favor in a time where he ain't showing any favor. The real treasure is pretty much grace and mercy, the mercies of David, which is going to have a higher set of mercy than he has for any other people down here on the earth. That's only for the house of David. That's for the elect. That's a different type of mercy. You might get far being a good person, but you ain't going to get on the chariot. That's the point. You might get far, not saying the name. But there's going to be a point where there's a cutoff point with that. Because you ain't really trusting in the Lord. And through those afflictions, they were to strengthen in you. And you're not the gold he's looking for. He's looking for a specific type of gold, man. Like the gold of Ophir. It's like precious gold, man. You say he's trying to make up his jewels. He's trying to shine, man. So he's speaking, ultimately it's his elect. Those are his precious stones. That's the only thing he's gathering out of here, man. Everything else is going to get burned up by the fire. That's why it tells you in Zechariah, the 13th chapter, 2/3 shall be cut off and die, but the 1/3 shall be left therein. Let me grab that. I know I'm chopping that up. Saying it wrong for some reason. 2/3 shall be cut off and die. Just grab that on my phone. But that's what it's talking about. It's talking about the 2/3, which is 66.6 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You'll never come into the knowledge of the truth because you're a reprobate. As a matter of fact, when you read Revelation, the 22nd chapter, it talks about those who are the outside. When you're outside of this truth, you're profane. You're not in the holy place. You're not holy to the Lord. You're just like you're a murderer. I'll grab that, Lord's will, after. Zechariah 13, verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 1/3 shall be left therein. So that's talking about 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are Israelites. Those are Israelites who are not going to be cut off and die because, first of all, majority of the 66.6, they're not coming into this truth. I was talking to a so-called Dominican man yesterday. I told him he was a Simeonite. He looked at me like, okay, see you later. Bye. That might have been your last hope, man. You out of here. The Lord ain't coming to save no damn Dominican, man. You Dominicans going to get put to death. You don't want to come to the knowledge. He's coming to save Israel. No, the Bible don't say nothing about no fucking stupid-ass Dominican. Some dumbass Puerto Rican, some nigga named I'm black. He ain't saving none of you motherfuckers, man. You people are gonna die. You continue to be black, a product of what Esau. That shows you who you trust in. You believe in Esau. Yeah, I'm Saint Dominic's Cain. You're Saint Dominic's dog. So you continue to be that. See if the Lord gonna help you. Now he can still repent. But that mindset is what is going to be destroyed in this fire. Zechariah 13:9, and I will bring the 3rd part through the fire and will refine them as silver is refined. The 3rd part is 33.33333. Continually, that's talking about the elect of Israel, the remnant. He said, and I will refine them as silver is refined. So during this afflictions of everything, this economic collapse, that's affliction that he's putting on his elect to refine them. That's all. It's a refining process for the elect. But the rest of y'all like wood, hay, and stubble, so you ain't gonna make it. You're soft, you're weak. That's why you wear hair bonnets and you're just gay. You're gonna get burned up in this affliction. Zechariah 13:9. And will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua is my God. So that's who it's talking about. All right. It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3. And damn, this is a really good chapter, Foundations for Living. I'm going to jump down, try to get to the point. 1 Corinthians 3, and I'll start at 9. For we are laborers together with the Most High, yea, are God's husbandry, ye are God's building. According to the grace of God, which is given unto me, as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereon. So the foundation is Yahweh Shah. Okay, and we're building upon his doctrine. So that's, you know, by doing the same thing our elders have done, bringing in the truth, same way that we were taught with teaching, okay, on how we got this word. Now, I never joined any group. I learned off the internet. But it's still, just because you learn off the internet, you still gotta treat the word equally with the same type of respect as how you learn. The way they taught it, the way you got it, is the same way you build upon that foundation of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. 1 Corinthians, like, you don't change up the doctrine, so to speak. 1 Corinthians 3 and verse, because Esau tempts you, you got this word, man. He'll change your whole life. Oh, yeah, you know you're Israel now. Hey, why don't you take this bag? Stop teaching the word. They don't want listening to you anyways. You ain't, come on, man. I'll give you millions of dollars, man. Come on, man. You ain't got shit. But he knows really, he be fucking with the numbers anyways. He knows what's really going on. That's why you ain't supposed to be worried about that shit. The Lord said his word doesn't go out void. So he knows, man. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse number 11. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Now if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. So the things you've done, you know, to build upon that foundation of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, it's going to be tried by fire. Meaning you're going to be going through these afflictions. Okay? And we're going to see what's on the other side of those afflictions, what you're made out of. You're made out of gold, you're made out of silver, precious stones. That's what you want to be made out of. Those are things, that's how the Lord's making up his jewels. You know, those are the three things that are going to make it through the fire. Precious stones, silver, metal, you know, gold. Things that can go through a bunch of afflictions. That's why he always kept his people they got a better chance, because, you know, he's been chastising us like sons, but like Esau, he's a bastard, so any type of affliction, he gonna give it the ghost quick, unless he got a shit ton of money. That's why the elites are the only ones that are gonna make it through this time. They're privy to information, stock market collapses. That's why you ain't supposed to have your mind on no stock market and all that bullshit. Okay? You want to be, honestly, you don't even want to be drinking, man. You don't want to be doing shit. Eating too much. I'd be fasting more. This ain't the time to be a big fat nigga, man. You supposed to be, you got to be putting yourself through this affliction, man. Niggas ramping up the roundup. So even if you eat just regular fruits and vegetables, that's just killing you, man. That's just killing you. All right, so if you eating all this shit all the time, man, I would pray that the Lord put a disciplined spirit on yourself and have you think more wisely. That's what this word was all about the whole time. We're trying to get to a victory, man. We can't be that's a soft kill. That nigga put you to death through the food. That's easy. That's easy to put some of y'all to death. I'd rather him put some resources together, man. Bring the troops in, man. I want an honorable death, man. All right? Make that nigga work for it. Because that's what he's doing anyways. Putting you to death, spiritually, physically, mentally, constantly. But anyways, 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 14. If any man's work abide which he have built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. So if your work is the people pretty much you have brought into this truth. Okay, they're the work. Now some of them, they're gonna have the truth, they're gonna receive it, then they're gonna fall out and they're gonna get burnt up. Yeah, you lose. That's what this parable is getting into. But I'm still in the truth, so I'm somebody else's work. And that person's somebody else's work, and that person's somebody else's work. Because however that original seed got planted inside of them, hey, that's your seed that you planted. You know, whatever day you put the seed in, that's why you constantly sow the seed. You don't know who it's gonna affect, how it's gonna, help them in their walk. And if that seed grow into one of the elect, hey, that's a reward for you. There's a reward coming. That's never gonna be forgotten about. But this brother woke up Isaiah. Yeah, in Babylon, man. That brother woke up Isaiah in Babylon. You don't know who's receiving the word. Because the Lord set up men in different times to wake up, and he set different men up. There's a certain type of spirit that you had to hear for you to get it. Not anybody could just unlock you like that, man. Ultimately, it's another, because it might not even be somebody that's the elect that's waking you up. It could be a demon. The Lord got demons out here teaching the word too. Like the IUIC. I was watching him last night, and he started to go into the name Yahweh. Then he's going into Exodus, the 3rd chapter, saying, see, this is the Lord. Because the Lord said, I am that I am, or I am, or something like that. And he tried to match that up with Exodus, the 3rd chapter, trying to weave you into some bullshit. Because that's a demon on him. He was doing good. The lesson was edifying. Then he'd be throwing in those stumbling blocks. But that's for the non-elect. They stumble at shit like that. That's why I tell brothers, get built up with GMS. Then okay, this nigga's throwing stumbling blocks out there. Just like that other group. Genesis, I don't know if they call themselves that. I don't watch their videos, but when the elder does talk about them, you can see that you wouldn't know they're going off if you were under their doctrine. You think this is how it's supposed to be. They done switched from being an Israelite, going back into Christianity, mad views, mad money. That's what they want you to do. Christianity brings a lot of money. That's why they want y'all to be Christians and Catholics. Make a lot of money off that. And y'all follow that because you think you look on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks upon the heart, so He understands who is who. All right. We finish this 1 Corinthians chapter 3, in verse 15. If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss. But he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. So you still got to go through the afflictions, even though you might have lost that. You might have lost what you lost by putting somebody else on to the work, but you don't know what's going on. The Lord is the one doing all this work. You don't know what you're losing. Some people they'll sign up for your channel. They get offended, and then they leave because they're undesirable. The Lord ain't dealing with no soft-ass, weak-ass. That's not what the nation of Israel is. We're mighty people, man. Even our women. Our women, read about Judith, read about Sarah and all of our women, our righteous women. Deborah. They were nothing like these women today. Esther. Esther's a mighty woman, man. So there's a difference between who the Lord is dealing with and who He's not dealing with. Those women had integrity. They were willing to die for their people. You women rather go with the heathen and make covenants with them. Like some damn fools. And that's why you're going to die too. Majority of these 2/3 are women. Because they weren't imputed wisdom and knowledge and understanding. But the elect lady, that's who's going to be saved in this time. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? Yeah, you don't know you're the temple of God? and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you. So you're the temple. The believers are the temple. Okay, that's why he's filling you up with all, with all those. What did the Lord put in his temple? He had the menorah, he had the showbread, he had all of that. Okay, and that's what he's putting. That's what he's putting in his elect. That's a clean temple, undefiled. You got incense burning in there. So you're the temple. You gotta defend it. You gotta act like it. But you always being attacked at the same time. It's not something that that you don't have to defend. You always gotta work at cleaning it out. You always gotta work at defending yourself, defending this truth, and walking in the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 17. If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. So you defiling your temple, man. How you really defile your temple is having these other doctrines within you and believing and trusting in other gods, worshiping other idols through the Spirit. He's going to destroy you for that. It's all a mindset. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 18. Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool that he may be wise. So you gotta be taught again, man. You gotta become a fool so you may be wise. Some people might look at me and be like, man, he swear too much. He be acting tough. He be doing this. He be doing too much. Okay, good. There's plenty of brothers that teach you. Maybe I'm not your cup of tea. It's all right. It's all fine with me. I'm working on my own salvation. All right? You don't like that? See you later, man. See you later. Good luck, man. I'm fighting for a crown, man. I'm not playing out here when it comes to the Lord. Because I understand the reward. I understand what's going on out here, man. Why? Because I watch. I see that the Lord's working every single day. Why wouldn't I work? He's putting kings to death. He's putting... What's the difference between him and me? He could put me to death too. Everybody want to laugh and joke about his death. You might be next. The Lord got a lot of different things going on right now, man. So if you ain't prepared to serve him, with all your heart, man, you're subject to getting put to death too, in a horrific way. 1 Corinthians, let me finish this up, chapter 3, in verse 19. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God, for it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. Yeah, so the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. And that's what we're starting to see. All this AI bullshit, you're going to see it's foolishness with the Lord. Especially when you get it inside you, when you went to go eat and feed your family, and then you got cancer in your fucking hand. And you can't take it out because you gotta remain in society. So some of y'all gonna try to chop your hand off, but it's gonna be too late. You already got the chip, man. So it's a lose-lose if you take it. You take it, you get cancer. That's the grievous sword the Lord's talking about. You're gonna feel condemned in your spirit for taking that. Being a fool, not trusting in the Lord to protect you and guide you. You're going to be a dumbass, just like most of these people that be talking shit. Homie about to start crying, see? Roaming heathen. That's a heathen. He even got it in his name. That's what the elect's supposed to do. Let's grab this in the book of Isaiah 62. People like him, he ain't going to make it. But I'm glad he's back. Keep stacking it up. You're going to get your ass kicked. I can already tell. You're a full-blown demon. He's probably a pedo. Isaiah 62. And Isaiah 62, verse 6. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence, and give him no rest, till he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. That's right. Keep not silence, give him no rest until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans ain't a praise in the earth, and you ain't hoping that you become one either. Let's finish this up in 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 20. And again, the Lord knows the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain. Therefore, let no man glory in men, for all things are yours, whether Paul or Apollos or Cephas or the world, or life or death, or things present or things to come, all are yours, and ye are Hamashiach's, and Hamashiach is God. So what that's saying is, no matter who you learn it from, man, they're all here to build you up pretty much. All right, that's what this ministry's for. It's for the elected Israel. It's not for a bunch of Roman heathens that are on the internet, talking to people that ain't even, he's just a demon. He don't get any attention in the world, so he's looking for it any way he can. He probably be on multiple people's channels talking shit, looking for some response to feel like he's alive. That's what demons do. They want you to get carnal with them. This is why you got to be built. You got to be spiritual. The Lord will send some demons at you to see how you react to it. So he can build you up, make sure you passing the test. But I fought a lot of demons to get to this point. Isaiah chapter 19. Let me finish this in. I didn't finish it in the chat. Let me just finish this. See if there's any other meat. Verse 10 summarizes the entire economic foundation is broken. Prophetic. It says Egypt in prophecy often represents. I already know what Egypt is. When the Lord judges Egypt, he shows he controls the waters, which are the resources. He controls the labor market. He controls national stability. A nation may look strong, but if the Lord dries up its Nile, it collapses. And that's what you're starting to see. He's drying up the Nile of Egypt. Okay? Your resources are going to be dried up. Your oil prices going up. These data centers are going to cause your electricity bill to go up. Those data centers need water to power them. So that's taking your water. That's drying up your water. So he's literally drying up your water, man. All for what? For some stupid ass app? No one gives a fuck about that, but it ain't for that. He's building a system that will, a whole surveillance state in front of your face. All right? Going into Jacob's trouble. And people want to scoff and shit at that because they don't see what's going on. Most of these people are paid agents, FBI agents. AI he also got AI that they ultimately, spiritually, they're just demons. But this devil got agents, man. They're everywhere. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 11. Surely the princes of Zoan are fools. The counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings? Yeah, the Lord don't give a fuck about that. He's going to show you that your different kings and princes are fools when he confounds them. Especially this military attack that they did, you're going to see that's not going to benefit you in any form or fashion. Okay, it's going to make this place worse. Economically, it's going to make it worse. It's going to have those heathen over there gathering together more against you. It's going to make it more, it made it more dangerous in the earth. Okay, you got people, they got different splinter cell groups out here that they can tap into at any time that can destroy your infrastructure, because your infrastructure is rated at like a F. I think you got an F for infrastructure. It's easy to hit a transistor or shit like that. It's easy to knock that shit out. That shit ain't hard to do. And another nation, they don't need to pay a lot of money to get somebody to knock that out. And when them shit start going out, that's going to make you people mad, especially when you can't hop on the internet, can't get on your dating services, can't play your video games. Your kids can't go to school because of something that happened. It's going to cause hell, man. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 12. Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what the Lord of hosts had purposed upon Egypt. Yeah, tell you, it was your wise men telling you about the prophecies of the Lord. Your wise men ain't telling you, they ain't bringing up the Lord when they sit in these councils. Hey, what is the Lord thinking about what we do if we go bomb Iran? They're not bringing out the Bible. I don't know. Let's read Isaiah 19. He ain't going into these prophecies because they're wise men are foolish. If they were wise, they would acknowledge the Lord's prophecies. They don't acknowledge the Lord's prophecies. Psalms 14 tells you that the fool has said in his heart that there is no God. That's how they operate. They think they're God. They're making their own Bibles. So it's trying to make the word of God of none effect, and it's not going to work. Psalms 14:1, the fool have said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and see God. They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good. No, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon the Lord? There were they in great fear, for God is in the generation of the righteous. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. Or that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion. When the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. So these people are fools, man. And Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. So that's talking about the northern and the southern kingdom. Why? Because these prophecies are all, they benefit you. The fall of Egypt, it benefits you. The plagues upon Egypt, it benefits you just like back then. When he destroyed Pharaoh, that benefited you. When he destroyed Amalek and discomforted him, that benefited you. So anytime they're going through it, it's good. You read Deuteronomy, the 25th chapter, it says they like to go after the hindmost of the people, and that's what you're seeing today. And that's what he's going to do when it comes to you niggas, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You the hindmost of the people. Y'all, that's why y'all already being attacked now. And then it's going to trickle into the believers, and it really going to start with us, the real persecution. Okay, when the real persecution starts to come, it's going to start with us believers. So you know when they start making us bad, it ain't too much longer when it starts coming for the rest of y'all. He's going to come down with great wrath on y'all too. He's going to start with us though. So once you start seeing us going through it, just know it's towards the end. Let me grab this from the 1 Peter. 1 Peter. Let me grab it off my phone. My hand is freezing again. 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 17. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? So yeah, if it first begin at us, what shall the end? What shall the end be for them that obey not the gospel? Because he gonna lift up a standard for some of his, well, a lot of his elect. Some of us are gonna get put to death, but we already ready for that. We love not our lives unto the death. We're not like y'all, man. If you love it here, you want to party, you want to travel, Grand Canyon, fuck all that shit, man. You want to see all that shit get destroyed, man. All the shit you want to see here in Babylon is going to be destroyed. You want to see it before it goes. Hey, I'm good. I'd rather be in the mindset waiting for this devil to come down with great wrath and wait for the Lord to exalt me. That's it. That's the type of mindset you got to have in this time, man. Waiting for a new heaven and a new earth. Where righteousness dwelleth. You niggas want to... Man, I don't even get me started on these people, man. That shit be pissing me off. 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. So all this shit that you see is going to get burned up. The works also, everything you work for, that's going to get burned up. All right? The elements shall melt with fervent heat. The elements are going to be melted with thermonuclear missiles. All right? That's how this place is going to get burned up. Thermonuclear destruction. Everything you see here in Babylon is being destroyed. Israel, gone. It's all going to be on fire. 2 Peter 3 and 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So your holy conversation goes into your conduct, and godliness is your respect towards the law, statutes, and commandments. So what manner of persons ought ye to be in this time if you know these things are going to come? I would be seeking the Lord 10 times more if you truly believe. That's not something you read and put on your eyes before you go into a football game like Stephon Diggs. Now, you're supposed to be occupied in this prophecy, but you go train up, and he's of the world, though. Nigga got 6 baby mamas all at once. He's living it up. Ain't nothing unrighteous about that. You can have 6 baby mamas. He got the money. Then he's over here choking bitches, his maids over here. That nigga's out of his damn mind. You know, I'm showing you that, you know, just because you can do it, it probably ain't expedient if you ain't serving the Lord. All these Bible verses on your face, man, ain't gonna help you, man. You won't have this word inside of you. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 12, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Yeah, we hasten in the day of the Lord. Even though it's a terrible day, it's not something that, you know, what we know through our works, the Lord's given us this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So we're banking on we're gonna be saved in that time. That's what we're putting our apples and oranges in that basket. Okay, because we're trusting in the Lord. A lot of y'all trusting, you still believe in Jesus Christ. Not having any wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's why you'll never come into the knowledge of the Lord. He's not giving you his name. He's not dealing with you. You think you're holy, you think you're a complete demon. You ain't practicing the righteous acts, you ain't hastening the day. You're in agreement with evil. It's because of the doctrine you believe in, because you're a fool. 2 Peter 3 verse 13, nevertheless, we according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. So that's what I wanted to get. Okay, we're looking for a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. This is Esau's heaven, which is our hell. This is hell for the righteous. Okay, all these wicked ass laws he got, he transgressed every law. He put pork in everything. Okay, that's not righteous. That's not a righteous society. He got fucking Epstein's list and pedos ruling. That's not righteous. And these pedos are calling themselves lords and shit. Calling himself a lord. Then you out of your fucking mind, man. You out of your damn mind. Calling themselves lords. You no damn lord, man. You a damn peasant. You a damn servant. And the Lord's going to reveal that to you, show you that you're foolish. Let me finish this in Isaiah 19. Isaiah 19 and verse 14. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. So that spirit of error goes into all of his technology. You know, everything that he makes, everything he puts his hand to, everything that he does, it don't accomplish what he wants it to do. It might look shiny. You might think you're buying a new car, the transmission blows 50K. You know, or you think you set in your jet planes over there and then they malfunction on the way over there. You know, he might try to shoot some shit and it don't work. His plan don't come to fruition. You know? So it just goes to show you that he's causing him an error in everything. Nobody wants American-made products. You're looking at that shit like, man, this shit gonna break down on me. I can't trust this shit. That's Egypt causing it to err. The book of Isaiah 19, verse 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So the branch or tail, branch or rush may do. So from the greatest to the smallest, ain't gonna be any work for you. You ain't gonna find any work. That's gonna be cut off. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, which he hath determined against it. So Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Judah's so-called African American. Something's gonna happen, man. Gonna get you roused up. We're gonna get you roused up, man. Something this devil's gonna do, and it's gonna be undeniable. And Judah's gonna fuck this place up. I don't know if he's gonna put his knee on somebody's neck again, hang somebody in the street somewhere, hang somebody in the White House. I don't know. Whatever gets you roused up. He been hanging mad niggas. I don't know why y'all ain't mad. The fuck? Go do something, man. He just hung Mr. Basinger, I think, some little 21-year-old dude, kid. I think he was in the woods, found him hanging in the woods. Oh, I don't know what happened to him. You know, he fell and slipped on a noose track that he set up by himself. I guess he forgot where it was and it hung him in a tree. If that ain't getting you roused up, I don't know what's going to make you niggas, you black people, mad. Fucking go wild out, man. Go burn some shit. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be a terror. Judah. Going to be a terror under them. All right? And we're going to be a terror under you, too, when the Lord gives us the spirit and power. When that spirit comes from on high, oh, man. That's the elect, though. That's a different type of terror. That terror, when a man has got spiritual power, when he's doing shit that's undeniable, that's from the Lord, then that's going to be a terror to this world, too. You're going to think all that Samson stuff is a joke, and then you're going to see Samson is real. You have a blessed day, man. You're going to see that Samson is, it wasn't a joke. Putting thousands of these Philistines to death with a jaw of an ass. So things like that, that's gonna be terrifying to y'all. Isaiah 19 verse 18. In that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan and swear to the Lord of hosts. One shall be called the city of destruction. So the 5 cities are the major cities here in America where that word is going on. Like Dallas, Chicago, LA, I don't know, Florida. What other major cities do we got? Chicago, Florida, Texas, California. That's the only ones I can think about. You know, where the major groups are at. Florida, Chicago, Texas, LA, and I don't know, Detroit. The big 5, man. I don't know. You know. So basically, the city of destruction is talking about here in America, where this truth was going on. They're speaking the language of Canaan, which is Hebrew, but they're not speaking Hebrew fluent. That doesn't mean you got to speak Hebrew fluently. We got enough Hebrew. We know the name of the Lord. You look into some of these words. We got enough to know what we need to know when it comes to the Lord. The heathen don't got that. They speak all this modern day Hebrew and they call the name of the Lord Hashem. So these heathen don't know shit. They don't know the Lord. That's why they act like that. It's a disgrace to say that they're the children of God when you don't even fit none of the prophecies. Where's the chains of iron, the yoke of iron that's on your neck? When did that happen? When did you come in Egypt and get on slave ships? Instead of Isaiah 2, you shall learn war no more when you go into the land. Shouldn't you already have all the land? Why will you be fighting for the Fertile Crescent? Why is that? Did the Lord say He's gonna bring you into Egypt again, and then you're gonna fight some more to get the land that He like the Lord couldn't deliver you properly? No, they're fulfilling Luke 21 verse 24. That the Gentiles, the time of the Gentiles should be fulfilled. That's who's over there. Gentiles, heathen, natural born heathen, not Israelite Gentiles. You go to slavery and you get your nationality taken away from you when you think you're a Gentile. That's a Gentile too. But then the Lord give you the knowledge that you're an Israelite. That's a different type of Gentile. That's called an Israelite foreigner. That's why you got to know in context which Gentile is he talking about. But that's too much for a heathen. Heathen, they're beasts. That's what the Lord's going to manifest to you in these last days. because they can never receive the knowledge and wisdom of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. There's the book of Isaiah 19, verse 19. In that day shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof to the Lord. So the altar, in that day shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt. So these different camps that you see, this is a form of those altars. Okay, we're actually, it's really just, you know, the brothers that are on these highways and hedges doing the work. You know, that's like an altar. This is like an altar. You go on, you go to the altar, you make your body a living sacrifice, like it tells you in Romans 12:1. This is how we're making our body a living sacrifice. Putting up these videos, that's what it is. And then, you know, those are the partakers, the believers, or the priests and stuff. They used to partake in eating of that sacrifice. So if you're learning, then you're eating of the sacrifice that I'm putting up. Well, I'm making my body a living sacrifice. So it's really a feast. We're just eating. We're just talking about the Lord. Isaiah 19, verse 20. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto the Lord of hosts in the land of Egypt. For they shall cry unto the Lord because of the oppressors, and he shall send them a savior and a great one, and he shall deliver them. So just like Roman heathen be saying, oh, you crying, he's crying again. Yeah, that's how you're going to get delivered. You read Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter, talks about a woman being great. What happens? If she don't cry, she get destroyed with the person that's raping her. But if she cried out, then she's going to be delivered. She's going to be justified. So that's what the elect are going to be doing. They're going to be crying out to the Lord because Esau is raping them in all forms of fashion. He's trying to force himself upon his elect. So they cry out to the Lord to justify, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to put the devil to death, and he's going to justify his elect. Isaiah 19, verse 21, and the Lord shall be known to Egypt, and the Egyptians shall know the Lord in that day, and shall do sacrifice and oblation. Yea, they shall vow a vow unto the Lord and perform it. And I believe this heathen is talking about Israelites, okay? Calling us the Egyptian because we're just like being part of the, what's that, Ezekiel, I think it's Ezekiel 16. Like I said, there's different types of heathen. It's not talking about these Egyptians. Damn sure ain't talking about you Americans. You guys don't believe in the Lord. Your actions show you don't believe. Ezekiel chapter 16. And Ezekiel 16 verse 3. I'll start at the top. Ezekiel 16:1. Again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations. And say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan. Thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother a Hittite. And as for thy nativity, in the day thou was born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to supple thee. Thou was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all. So he's basically saying your mother and your father are heathen. Basically calling you a heathen. So it's not far-fetched that he's calling us Egyptians. All right? But they're going to make a vow to the Lord. And what are they going to do? That vow is to serve Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Okay? And that's part of the vow. When you come into this truth, it's you making a vow unto the Lord. Okay? And whatever vow that is, it's ultimately you enduring into the end, you serving him. All right? It ain't going to be, oh, you're going to be serving these other gods anymore. Isaiah 19 is giving me Malachi 1 and 11. Let me just see if that's good real quick. Malachi chapter 1, verse 11. For from the rising of the sun even unto the going down of the same, my name shall be great among the Gentiles, and in every place incense shall be offered unto my name, and a pure offering, for my name shall be great among the heathen, saith the Lord of hosts. Now that's talking about in the kingdom. That's talking about in the kingdom. Because the heathen are going to learn about the Lord through the judgments of the Lord. We know about the Lord before the judgments of the Lord, so we can escape the judgments. That's why we're out here doing the work of the Lord now. But the heathen, they don't serve the Lord. They hate the Lord. Okay, that's why they coming up against the word. When they hear the word, they come up against it because they're heathen. They're actually enemies of the Lord. People who talk shit to me, they ain't really about me. I understand that. It's really about the Lord. They're really just showing themselves that they hate the Lord. Okay, if I was out here talking about Jesus, they'd be, oh yeah, Jesus, yeah, Jesus is good. So-called white man, yeah, he's fine. But Howard Hashemi Al-Shai, no, we don't like him. We don't like him. All right. So it's showing you a difference between the two. The world loves its own, man. That's the God of this world, the so-called white man. 2 Corinthians 4:4. That's who y'all believe in. Isaiah chapter 19, verse number 22. And the Lord shall smite Egypt, he shall smite and heal it. And they shall return even to the Lord, and he shall be entreated of them, and shall heal them. And now it's talking about us. We gonna be healed. Okay? It gets to these precepts. This is probably one of the hardest precepts to break down. A lot of people, it's a stumbling block to a lot, but the Egyptians down there, I think there's another precept. I'm trying to tie it all together because this is how you know the word's not for everybody. All right? It's talking about Egyptians, so you're thinking, okay, in other places it's talking about, Egyptians are talking about, Americans, but this is actually talking about Israelites over here in Egypt. But you got to eat the whole roll for you to understand it. Isaiah 19, verse 23, in that day shall there be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrian shall come into Egypt, and the Egyptian into Assyria, and the Egyptian shall serve with the Assyrian. So he's talking about us again, the Assyrian too. And which precept that goes with that? Let me see in my notes. Isaiah 19. Isaiah 19. And okay. All I'm right there. Okay, let me look my notes. Isaiah 19 and 21 again. And the Lord shall be known to Egypt, and the Egyptians shall know the Lord in that day, and shall do sacrifice and oblation. Yea, they shall vow a vow unto the Lord and perform it. And I just found my notes on that. Let's see what it says. It says this is talking about when we are in the kingdom, the heathen is going to come up. If the Lord loves them, why wouldn't he put the law, statutes, and commandments in their heart, just like he's going to do Israel? Why would they have to be forced? Why am I writing this? Why? Because they're not going to have the law, statutes, and commandments written in their hearts. So now he's talking about the actual heathen. Zechariah 14, 17 through 21. Let me see what I wrote here. Zechariah 14, 17 through 21. It says, and it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt go not up, and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague, wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt, and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. In that day shall there be upon the bells of the horses holiness unto the Lord, and the pots in the Lord's house shall be like the bowls before the altar. Yea, every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness unto the Lord of hosts. And they that sacrifice shall come up and take of them and seethe therein. And in that day there shall be no more the Canaanite in the house of the Lord of hosts. So with that basically saying, when we're in the kingdom, you heathen nations are going to come up to celebrate certain holidays. And if you don't, you ain't going to have no rain, man. So that's why the heathen are coming up. Okay, Isaiah 19 and 22. And the Lord shall smite Egypt, he shall smite all and heal it. and they shall return even to the Lord, and he shall be entreated of them, and shall hail them. Let me see what that means again. In Isaiah 19, verse 22. That's why you got to keep notes too, just in case. Isaiah 19, verse 22. Smite and heal Egypt, because he's going to kill a certain amount of our people, 2/3, but he's also going to heal it because 1/3 has to be saved and delivered. Egypt was never with the Lord. Israel was the ones who became not my people. And we're going to be brought back into the land to be told that we are the sons of God. Well, it starts with this knowledge. And I think I'm referencing Hosea 1, verse 10. So it's saying the 2/3, and the Lord shall smite Egypt, and he shall smite and heal it. So it's talking about the 2/3 and the 1/3. Isaiah 19, verse 23, in that day shall there be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrian shall come into Egypt, and the Egyptian into Assyria, and the Egyptians shall serve with the Assyrians. So I gotta go back into my notes again. What does this say? The highway represents deliverance. Egypt and Assyria is symbolic for the different captivities we were in. Hosea 7:11, our people had a serious infatuation with those captivities, so much so that the Lord is calling Israel by those names, just like he did in Ezekiel 16:3. Hosea 11:11, this is just symbolic of our captivity. The Lord is only going to deliver us from these two places. He's saying with this precept that he's going to deliver us. He's going to free us from all this idol worship that we learned from the heathens. I got a precept here, Isaiah 27:13, using Egypt and Assyria in reference to Israel. Right. That's what Isaiah 27:13. Let's go there. Isaiah 27, verse 13. And it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and the outcasts in the land of Egypt, and shall worship the Lord in the holy mount at Jerusalem. So who's worshiping the Lord at the holy mount at Jerusalem? That's coming out of Assyria, and that's coming out of Egypt. Two places where we were held captive in, the Israelites. Isaiah 19, verse 24, in that day shall Israel be the third with Egypt and with Assyria, even a blessing in the midst of the land. You gotta look that up. These are not precepts you can get out of the Bible Hub. They don't know what the hell this is talking about. I got another precept too in Zechariah 10, verse 10. Let me go there. Zechariah 10, verse 10. I will bring them again also out of the land of Egypt, and gather them out of Assyria, and I will bring them into the land of Gilead and Lebanon, and place shall not be found for them. And he shall pass through the sea with affliction, and shall smite the waves in the sea, and all the deeps of the river shall dry up, and the pride of Assyria shall be brought down, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart away, and I will strengthen them in the Lord, and they shall walk up and down in his name, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So he's going to strengthen the Israelites. Isaiah 19, verse 25, whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, blessed be Egypt, my people, in Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, mine inheritance. So let's look into that. This is saying a lot, man. It's out. You hear Assyria, you hear Egypt. It's all about Israel. Let's see what I wrote here. Hosea 9:3. When did Ephraim go back to Egypt or Assyria? After they left the Assyrian captivity, or they came over here to the Americas? That's in the book of 2nd Esdras 13. This is spiritual, talking about the captivity of the northern kingdom. Going back to Isaiah 27 and 13. So it's basically talking about Israel again. Blessed be Egypt, my people. Egypt, my people ain't Egyptians are not of the Lord's people. And Assyria, the work of my hands. So it goes to show you that's talking about Israelites. Let me finish this. Let me grab Hosea 1 and 10. Try to bring it. I know it's kind of confusing. it's a hard one to really digest. It takes time to really digest Isaiah 19, but if you keep going through the precepts, you'll get strengthened in it. That's why you gotta cleave to it. You gotta cleave to your elders, man. If you gotta choose who you gonna be listen to, because if you go somewhere else, man, they get that precept wrong, then that's a little leavening the whole lump. And then you're gonna start thinking the heathen can be saved. You're gonna be using those precepts to save the heathen. Let me grab this to the book of Hosea 1 and 10. I'm gonna end it here though. Hosea chapter 1 and verse number 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living power. And that's talking about here in America. This is the place where we were said we are not God's people. It's the same place where it's going to be said we are the sons of the living power. But I'm going to end it here. Lord's will, this was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Akak Wadash. Shalom, Abad the Ball, Kwam Yasharala.